Everyone, this is Jamie Starr for New World News Network. Tonight I wanted to cover the Free Kesha hashtag that's been going around. For anyone who doesn't know, let me start this over here. Kesha was suing her producer, and he pretty much runs the label she's on, Kemosabe Records, or it's Kemosabe is either the record label or the publishing company. There's a two-part thing Dr.Luke has going on where he had Kemosabe and prescription songs or RX songs, something like that. And when I was producing pop music majorly, Dr.Luke was one of the people I really looked up to. I mean, he's done if you have a top 40 radio station, guarantee you at least 7 out of 10 songs you hear on there, he's got his name somewhat involved in them. And, it's one of those situations where if he was really to get blackballed or put in his place, pop music would die. And Kesha, though, you don't hear too much of because she's put herself on that list. And that list is, of course, the blackballed list. 50 Cent ended up there. He went from on top of the world, then he wanted to do a headphone deal, and the headphone company was going to rival Beats by Dre, SMS Audio, but the thing 50 did, now Beats by Dre, it's an endorsement deal. Beats by Dre is owned by Monster, so Dre only has his name on it. He only gets a cut between him and Jimmy Iovine. 50, being the smart businessman he was, he went and bought the company. He owned SMS down to the nuts and bolts. So if he had the infrastructure in place that he had at one point in time, he would have made so much money. And you see that Dre is now like the top hip-hop mogul or whatever because of Beats by Dre. But if 50 had a chance to do that SMS deal, believe me, hands down, 50 Cent would have been the richest person in hip-hop. He would have been giving Jay-Z a run for his money. But real quickly, you saw like that shutdown. You don't hear about 50 anymore. You don't hear him on the radio. No promotion, no publicity, no nothing. And that's what Kesha was fighting for. She was allegedly raped by Dr.Luke. I say allegedly because I'm just going with what's out there. But my honest opinion, and I've voiced this in other videos, in an industry where you're making millionaires out of one another and you're sort of delegating out positions of power and influence and celebrity and everything, you have to be able to establish dominance in some sort of way. And sadly, from what we always hear from, whether it's Corey Haim and Corey Feldman or, Kat or Cara DeGuardia from American Idol said she was raped. The way it happens in Hollywood is through rape. And, there's so many examples. The movie I Am Legend, for example, I've read that originally it was supposed to be cast to The Rock, but The Rock refused a gay proposition from the director, and so he was cut from it. The next movie you see him in, it's like some fairy nanny, whatever. I mean, they basically have him cross-dressing to still emasculate him, but it went to Will Smith, who there's always been rumors about Will Smith being gay. So it's one of these things. The casting couch is a very real thing, and it goes on even in the music business. So you had Kesha, who allegedly raped by Dr. Luke. Now, Dr. Luke, we should keep in mind, Michael Jackson, when he was working for Sony, and it was overseen by Tony Mottola, he came out and said Tony Mottola is the devil. Like, there's no other words put to it. He just walking embodiment of evil. And since then, I believe it was Dr. Luke who got $150 million to oversee Sony and to basically be the new Tony Mottola top guy. Like what Jimmy Iovine is for Interscope, Dr. Luke is now for Sony. So, again, that's why 7 out of 10 songs on your top 40 radio will be produced by Dr. Luke. Whether it's Katy Perry songs, Britney Spears, Kesha, Tayo Cruz, Flo Rida, the whole list. So, Kesha was trying to get out of her contract because she's worried that either she's going to have to work with him still, before this came out, there were issues with him being verbally abusive, telling her she looked like a refrigerator when she was putting on weight and stuff like that. You can see here she's obviously very distraught. And she was worried that if she couldn't get out of the contract, she would A, have to work with him, and then after making these claims now, that they're not going to push her album. And this is one of the big things that go on. Lady Gaga at first, she was signed, and she was shelved for years. And this happens to artists. It's how the music industry establishes monopolies. They will find an up-and-coming artist that's doing their thing independently, and they will sign them, and it's basically, here's $1 million to not make music, because the only people out there are the ones we want to push, and we want you on the sideline. If you're lucky, you'll end up writing a song or two for the likes of Beyonce or Rihanna. You know, that's how some people like Neo and Carrie Hilson had got their foot in the door, by writing for other people, and then eventually putting in enough work that they earn their shot at a solo career. And Kesha did the same thing. Kesha had written songs for other artists, but, you know, she's worried that she's just going to be tied up in litigations. It's sort of like what happened to the Lox with Bad Boy. So similar to the Lox wanting to get freed from their contract, you have a big push with hashtag Free Kesha. So here's an article about how she was denied and lost in court today, almost immediately after Kesha cried in court over the news that she would have to continue to work with her alleged rapist. Stars began taking to Twitter to rally around the pop star. And here we have some of the tweets. Now, I thought it was interesting. They have Lady Gaga in here. There are people all over the world who love you, Kesha Rose, and I can truly say I am in awe of your bravery. The reason why Lady Gaga would have spoken out is because someone has come out and made the accusation that Dr. Luke has also raped Lady Gaga. And this is, again, when she was very early on in her career. If you really want to get deep into the conspiracy end of this, this is the stuff that people attribute to the Monarch sex kitten programming that they put these girls through. It's why people think that, you know, Britney Spears will be doing an interview and then she'll start talking in a different accent, because there's a breaking of the person and then instilling alters. So, you know, it's akin to the Manchurian Candidate, where there's a person inside the person who's there to fulfill a mission. It also makes perfect sense with the use of alternate names and, you know, this sort of fake identity thing where, you know, single names like Madonna and stuff like that. Madonna being the alter, Beyonce has Sasha Fierce inside of her, so on and so forth. And one of the ways you can do that to a person is by abusing them, raping them, torturing them, conditioning them. Whole bunch of mind control. And I mean, pop music is a mind control op in and of itself. So, I guess the songwriter who singer Kesha claims sexually assaulted her, filed a defamation suit after the celebrity lawyer took to Twitter after Lady Gaga revealed she had been attacked by an older record producer at the age of 19. Geragos encouraged Twitter followers to guess who the rapist was and responded bingo when someone said Dr. Luke. Again, he's the top guy, so it really doesn't surprise me. I guess this was the guy who made the accusation, and if you really think about it, what does this guy have to gain for making these accusations? In a lawsuit, Kesha goes on and saying that Luke had drugged her and date raped her. We also know that there's a pornographic picture of Kesha that leaked online, and I almost wonder if it was at the hands of Dr. Luke again. But we see this go on. Same thing's going on with the first article I had up. The director of X-Men, who is homosexual, but he's been accused of date raping and gangbangs with young boys who want to get into the industry and everything like that. And it's the selling your soul factor. This shit goes on, and no one's putting an end to it. You know, Dr. Luke still going about his business, got off the hook with it. here's another article on Kesha and everything. But let's go back to some of these other artists, because the sad thing is I guarantee you, probably at least 70% of these other artists have been in that position, and that's why they're trying to stand in solidarity with Kesha. Ariana Grande, my heart is with Kesha Rose. Rowan Blanchard, I don't know who that is, what group she's in. Lorde, standing with Kesha Rose through this traumatic, deeply unfair time. Send good vibes her way, everyone. Lily Allen, my thoughts are with Kesha Rose today. I'm sorry you've had to endure this experience. Bay Miller, it disgusts me and breaks my heart that any court or person would continuously question a woman who claims she's been assaulted. The fact that Kesha has to choose to either freely make music or avoid the person who abused her is outrageous and degrading. Kelly Clarkson, who also worked with Dr. Luke, trying not to say anything since I can't say anything nice about a person, so this is me not talking about Dr. Luke. And then she posted a tweet from Best Coast. Wale even came out. Margaret Cho. So you have lots of celebrities standing in solidarity with Kesha, and that's because the celebrities know she's telling the truth, because they know that it's the nature of the business, and that's one of the things that people should really, realize. I've joked even amongst friends of mine and everything, saying that if me wanting to get in the music industry would depend on whether or not I'm willing to get raped by old Jewish guys. And that's what Dr. Luke is. That's what Bryan Singer is. I mean, me making a remark like that is not out of the blue, because it seems to be the way in the door. I mean, that and fraternal orders and secret societies, which all entails secret keeping, and the secret seems to be sodomy. So, I definitely got to commend Kesha in standing up to this bullshit, and it's something that, a lot of these stars are going through. The one Corey claimed that's why the other Corey took his life. You had Drew Barrymore, who became a cokehead at a very young age, and that's because that whole Hollywood scene, LA, Los Angeles, Lost Angels, it's all, the selling your soul talk and everything. The celebrities talk about it, but they do it in a nonchalant way that just sort of goes under the radar to most people, until you have an incident like this, and then you realize what's really happening. And it's true where, if someone's making you a millionaire, like Dr. Luke made Kesha what she is to some extent. His cosign means that much. So do you really think he's not going to run her through the mud and put her in her place to make sure she respects him and knows who the boss is? I mean, it's fucked up, but it's the nature of the business. So I just wanted to cover that and add my 2 cents onto it.